Hello everyone, it's here back in with our Marvel Content Chain video, and today I'm continuing my tier list video for all the classes before I start doing my monthly tier list. Just because I want you, going forward, I want you to have a frame of reference for why I believe each character is in the tier that they're in. And so yeah, there's just so many champions in the game. I just felt like it would make the most sense to start my monthly tier list by just doing a full tier list for each of the classes, where I'll just briefly go over each champion. I keep saying that I want these videos to be under 20 minutes, and then they somehow get longer each time. But yeah, I'm actually gonna try to get under 20 minutes this time. And before I do anything, as you can see, there's a ton of emojis. And so what these emojis mean is if they have the star, that means they want to be awakened. If they have the arm, they want to be high sig. Now, if I give them the arm, I didn't give them the star because if they want high sig, of course that means they want them to be awakened. So it's just there's no need for the star if you have the arm. If you have the little skull, you benefit from recoils. And when I say benefits from recoils, I mean you either have immunities to bleed or poison, you just benefit from having a bleed or poison on you, or that you just deal a lot of damage, or even you reduce the damage of the bleed and poison, so you get willpower healing. Or if you don't need to use a lot of special attacks, I count that as a benefit, because that means you basically just get a flat 40% bonus without taking much of the recoil damage. And now we have the little Stonehenge guy, which means they benefit from relics. Not all champions benefit from relics, but I'm just noting out the characters that really stand out as characters that really benefit from relics more than others. Now the shield means that they are a really good defender, and if they have 2 shields, that means they are some of the best defenders in the game. The heart means that they want synergies. If they have the guy with the shade, that means they require skill or at least some sort of knowledge of the game, or they're just a little harder to play than other champions. Now, I also want to note that with the little guy with like the sweat, I just want to note that I'm biased towards some champions in the game. And if I feel like I'm biased towards a character, I want to note that, because we all have different experiences with this game. I'm sure you guys are biased towards champions. I'm biased towards champions, and I just want to make that very transparent. So if I think a character is higher or lower than they are, or than they should be, it may be just because I'm either biased for them or biased against them. And if you see this emoji, it means I'm just unsure about the champion. Please tell me in the comments. And if I give them the little thumbs up, it means I'm thinking about promoting them. If I'm giving a thumbs down, it means I'm thinking about demoting them. And you won't be seeing any of these just because this is the first installment. Technically, everyone would get the little double arrow, but if they get the up arrow, that means they got promoted. If you see the down arrow, they got demoted. And if you have the both ways, it's a new entry. So, like I said, these are basically all new entries because this is a first time I'm doing this kind of video. But yeah, and then yeah, just going into the tiers, self-explanatory. Trash, some of the worst characters in the game. Mid, you got a little step up. Still trash, but they at least got something going for them. Great is like characters that are actually not that bad. Still a ton of better options, but they are kind of your average champions. Like they do what you need. They have nice utility, but they could certainly be better. And yeah, amazing is obviously a step up from great, but they're still not the best, but they still do a lot, and I would consider these pretty nice pulls if you get them. And then God tier is where you start to get some of the best characters of the class. Like, these guys are actually insane, probably some of the characters you're hunting the most. And then the Beyond God tier is just the best characters of the class. They just got everything going. They do everything above and beyond. Just like I said, some of the best characters of their class. So let's just get into it. Starting at the Beyond God tier, we only got 3 in here because I just think these 3 champions are such a big step up from the rest of the tech champions. There are a couple in God tier that I'm thinking about promoting, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, I mean, Future Ant-Man, just self-explanatory. He is definitely one of the best champions in the game overall. Definitely the best tech champion overall. He is an insane defender. He is an insane attacker. Has so much power control. And if you get him high sig, he basically is immune to bleed and incinerate, and he reduces the. I can't remember if he reduces the duration or the potency of that, but it's still really good. Basically, gives him immunity to bleed and incinerate. And yeah, like I said, he also has insane power control. I just got finished doing a Karina's run with the Dimensional Beings, and Future Ant-Man was just the GOAT. Like, he is just absolutely insane. It's kind of self-explanatory why he is in Beyond God tier, because he's just the best. Also, someone who I personally really like and that everyone really likes is Prowler, because he is just so darn good. He is a Rupture-based champion, so that definitely gives him brownie points because Rupture is by far the best damaging debuff in the game because there's only 3 champions that are immune to it. And not only that, but they're also passive as well, so he can get around debuff immunity like nodes and stuff like that. And yeah, if you just get good at him with like punishing special attacks to get that incinerate to get extra burst damage. He's also the only champion who's falter immune, which is also really nice because that definitely comes in handy, especially if you're fighting like Ebony Maw or there's like a really annoying node. Prowler is just the guy. He is so insane. Red Skull, he's mostly here because he's such an insane defender, but I actually believe he is quite underrated on attack as well. I've been using him this season in Battlegrounds, believe it or not, on attack sometimes. And yeah, he's actually getting me some dubs, so definitely wanted to point that out there. And yeah, just these guys are just insane. Red Skull's probably the weakest out of these 3, but he still deserves to be a bit beyond God tier in my opinion. Alright, someone I'm actually thinking about promoting is Armzola. However, I think it's just still a bit too early whether or not I think he should go here. He's definitely one of the best defenders right now. He's such a so annoying. I still don't know how he works. Maybe when we start figuring out how he works, maybe he'll go, or maybe he'll solidify in God tier. But for now, I'm thinking about promoting him just because he is that good. Also, I just think he looks cool, which I know shouldn't be a factor, but I think he looks cool. Ghost. So Ghost was like for the longest time the best champion in the game. However, Kabam has been like working nodes and stuff like that to prevent like characters like Ghost and Kitty Pryde specifically with like their miss. And so yeah, I just think because there's so much countering her and preventing her from being useful, she can't really be in beyond God tier. So God tier is where she's at. And yeah, Guardian I think is very underrated, and he should actually get this little Stonehenge thing because he is insane with the Hulkbuster relic. Like he just is a complete nuke with the Hulkbuster relic, and yeah, he's crazy. Guillotine 2099, she is basically the tech Aegon, where if you are in something like Necropolis, she's probably going to be one of your best options. Once again, I did the Korean's Challengers Necropolis challenge, and yeah, she was the GOAT. Loved using Guillotine, one of the better robot champions in the game. So yeah, she's definitely a God tier champion. However, because most of her use comes from Necropolis, I don't really think putting her beyond God tier would be very fitting, because her main use is kind of like a thing you kind of do like one and done. If you're just going for Necropolis, once you finish all that, you don't really think about Guillotine anymore. At least that's how I think. If it's Iron Man, very underrated champion. I believe he is just such a good champion. I don't think he's better than Doctor Doom, but I think he deals more damage than Doctor Doom. And just like Doctor Doom, he just controls the fight so well. Like, he also counters so many annoying mutant champions, and as long as you can shock the opponent and they don't apply armor break to you, Infinite Iron Man is gonna do the job just fine. And I'm just a little biased towards him. I love this champion. He's so freaking good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now another champion I'm thinking about promoting is Jack-O-Lantern, who I'm also a little biased towards. But I think people are starting to actually wake up and find out that Jack-O-Lantern is not just some onslaught counter. He is a everything counter. Or, well, not everything. I'm being a little hyperbolic there. But yeah, I'm just trying to sell you on how good Jack-O-Lantern is. He is such a nuke. You basically just want to get to the special 2, and then you want to heavy into the special 2, and you just watch the opponent just disintegrate. And the good thing about Jack-O-Lantern is that like he cannot crit, but whenever he would crit, he deals incinerate extra burst of incinerate damage, which you can also increase throughout the fight, but with your little Jack-O-Lantern charges. And against mutants, it's not incinerate, it's plasma. So I don't think there's a single champion in the game who's immune to plasma. So against any mutant champion, he can pretty much be useful without a problem. And yeah, if the opponent is not immune to incinerate, Jack-O-Lantern is going to be an absolute nuke to them. Like, people are really starting to wake up on Jack-O-Lantern, and he's just so insane. Especially if you have the Green Goblin relic. that just increases his damage over time effects even more, which already at baseline is so much as well. Now, Lady Deathstrike. So, Lady Deathstrike is my first rank 4 champion. I love Lady Deathstrike. Once again, very biased here. I also have a lot of champions on bias swords in the tech class, and I always used to regard the tech class as like my least favorite class, and then so many of my favorite champions are in the tech class. But going to Lady Deathstrike, I think she is also once again another champion that benefits from the Green Goblin relic once more. And another thing that about Lady Deathstrike, why I think she belongs in God tier, is because she is once again a rupture-based champion, which only 3 champions in the game are immune to right now. And yeah, I just think she is so easy to play. You pretty much just hit the opponent, stack on those ruptures, and they just melt away. But also, once you get into ferocity, which doesn't take that long to do, it's not that hard to achieve. You just use a special 2, bada bing, bada boom, you're in ferocity, and you're basically just a tank. You would tank just special attacks because she gains an unstoppable and will just regen it all back, because that's kind of how you want to play, because you don't really want to block with her when she's in ferocity, or you'll lose it. And yeah, I just think she's so freaking good, such an underrated champion. I'm going to be making a big showcase showing off my rank 4 against like all kinds of endgame bosses, but it's just taking me a lot longer than I anticipated. But yeah, soon I'll definitely show you why she is a God tier champion. Nimrod. Yeah, Nimrod is still, you know, one of the best mutant slayers in the game. There's only a couple mutant champions that you don't want to use him against. But other than that, I mean, he's a robot champion, so he has the bleed and poison immunity. And then even outside of mutant champions, he is such a nuke as long as you can shock the opponent. Like, Nimrod is just really good. And because he's a shock-based champion, he benefits from the Hulkbuster relic really, really nicely. And then Sentinel. So, Buff Sentinel is actually such a really good champion. Honestly, I'm thinking about promoting him as well, but I'm going to hold off on it. I didn't give him the thumbs up, even though I am thinking about it, but I'm just thinking about these guys a little bit more. But I can definitely see myself promoting Sentinel in the future. He is so good after his buff, and who would have thought the Sentinel benefits from his own relic? And yeah, I just think Sentinel is a really good champ now. Shocker, another champion on Bias Swords. He originally was my favorite champion, and now it's kind of Lady Deathstrike, but they're still kind of battling it out for my favorite champion. And yeah, I just think Shocker is such a good character. He has like a lot of like niche utilities that actually all come in useful like more often than you would think. And I just love his playstyle as well, like just going for that big Saitama punch. He's such a fun champion. He's also really annoying on defense as well, so that's definitely helping him. And I definitely think he's a God tier as well. And I mean, if it was personally up to me, he would be in Beyond God tier. But realistically, I think he definitely deserves at least God tier. Ultron. So Ultron is also pretty solid. Not much else to say. I kind of find him to be very boring. But he's a robot, which robots are very useful. They got that bleed and poison immunity. He is pretty good on defense, and he does a lot of that burst damage. So, you know, Ultron, I can't lie, he is pretty darn good. And another robot champion is Warlock. So, Warlock is just so good at just reducing opponent's regeneration, ability accuracy. Like, I love Warlock. He's so I just love Warlock. He does a lot of things. And then Shuri. So I think Shuri kind of fell off a bit. I don't think she belongs in Beyond God tier anymore. But which is sad. But I mean, she kind of had her time to shine when the crop was like fresh and new, and she was like the go-to champion. And I mean, she's still really good. Still pretty annoying on defense. A little harder to play, and because she, once again, you have another shock-based champion, she benefits from the Hulkbuster relic the most. Bastion, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about Bastion. I noticed like I keep forgetting emojis. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Bastion. I believe he's a robot champion. So you know he got that bleed and poison immunity or resistance. But yeah, like I said, I'm just unsure. I know he's pretty good. I'm kind of excited. I hope I can pull him, and then I can learn him. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Bastion. Howard the Duck is also a pretty good character. He's got that bleed and poison immunity, so honestly he's pretty good. I think he's pretty good with recoil, and yeah, he just has a big massive special 2 that does a whole bunch of shit. Like, he's pretty good. Hulkbuster is also pretty insane. I'm actually thinking about promoting him. I think he has really solid control over the fight, especially if you get him down with his spacing, because he's a bit of a tricky champion to play. and it doesn't always work out, but when it does work out, I mean, like, he's insane. Iron Man OG is also pretty good, especially after his buff. Like, it definitely makes me want to play him. You know, I love Iron Man, but I never wanted to play him because he probably only had like 3 lines of abilities. But after his buff, he's got Cold Snap immunity, Frostbite, and Incinerate immunity. He applies a ton of armor breaks and a lot of big yellow numbers. Like, Iron Man is just the GOAT. He has so many armor ups, so freaking tanky. Once he's awakened, he has a really nice regen, which I love champions with regen, because, you know, it allows me to feel free to make a mistake, because I'm not perfect, especially as I get used to PC controls. Ironheart is another solid champion, does a lot of incinerate damage, so she actually benefits from the Sentinel relic the most. And yeah, there's just a lot in the game that she deals really good with. A lot of fights you wouldn't think to bring Ironheart into, but then she does really well. Like, Ironheart is a pretty solid champion. Omega Sentinel is another robot champion who benefits from the recoil mastery because she reduces the bleed and poison potency. And yeah, she's just another really good robot champion, though I just don't think she's as good as the robot champions in God tier. Penny Parker is just a pretty good pretty good defender. Not really that useful on attack, but she does have burst potential. But yeah, she's mostly just a big defender who's very, very annoying, especially if the nodes are in her favor. Stark Spider-Man. So Stark Spider-Man is probably like one of everyone's favorite champions. Like, since he's been added, he's just been like the GOAT, one of like the most beginner-friendly champion, end-game-friendly champion. Like, Stark Spider-Man is just the guy, but unfortunately, the game has evolved a lot more, and he just doesn't have the utility to keep up anymore. So I can't really put him in beyond God tier or God tier, but putting him in amazing is still pretty darn solid. Also, War Machine is actually a character that I think is a little underrated. I actually been playing him on like my friend's account whenever it comes over. You know, I'll just like play his War Machine in Realm of Legends, and just like, yeah, War Machine is just such a solid champion. More people need to open their eyes to War Machine. Also, he's got some pretty solid pre-fights as well. So yeah, definitely don't sleep on War Machine. We also got Arcade, who's basically just a defender. Very annoying defender. Doesn't really do too much on attack, if I'm going to be honest. But he's got some uses on attack, so that's definitely why he's in great. But it's mostly just because he's a pretty annoying defender. And honestly, he's such an annoying defender. He might honestly get amazing at some point just because of how annoying he is. Unlike Darkhawk, though, like, he's a robot champion. He's got nice immunities. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't have a lot of damage. He's just an annoying defender, and I think Great is the perfect spot for him. Doc Ock, you know, I haven't seen too much Doc Ock recently, but I do know he has really good control of the fight with his power control. So he could actually maybe get a promotion. If you guys think Doc Ock is still really good, let me know. Or do you think he's fallen off and the game has evolved? Let me know. Where do you think Doc Ock goes? Great or amazing? I'm leaning towards amazing, but I can understand if you guys think he's great. Iron Man Infinity War, another defender that used to be very, very annoying, one of the most annoying champions in the game. And yeah, just, I mean, as you got more cosmic champions that applied armor break, you just had more counters to him, you know. He's just now a pretty annoying defender, but he's not like Arnim Zola or anything. He's like, Darkhawk and Iron Man Infinity War are kind of similar to me, where it's like, yeah, these characters used to be super annoying, but now it's like, oh, okay, it's just Iron Man Infinity War. I'll bring in, what's a cosmic champion off the top of my head that applies a lot of armor break? Oh, my Gamora. Or actually now I have or my Gamora and my Gore. They both counter both of these champions actually. Nebula is actually a solid champion. Not too much else to say. You know, she's a robot champion, so she actually benefits from recoil. Dang, I am doing so bad on these emojis, especially in the tech class. Punisher 2099. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have too much to say about this champion. I think another champion I think is kind of boring. But you know, he's still a solid champion overall. Silver Centurion, another solid champion overall. He's got nice damage over time with plasma. Vivid Vision requires a little bit of skill to play, but overall is another solid champion that I don't really have a whole lot to say. Unlike Silver Warrior, who I think is a bit underrated, I'm a little biased towards him. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is. Like, I understand he's not the best champion. He didn't get the best buff in the world, but I think at max ramp, he's got really, really good damage. He's got solid power control on the special 2. He has a lot of armor ups. He has nice immunities with, I believe he's immune to stagger and nullify. And he can also reduce the chance for poisons and bleed to apply to him. So he's kind of like a pseudo bleed and poison counter. So I think he's a little underrated, but I wouldn't mind him getting another buff. That's all I'm gonna say. Sam Wilson honestly doesn't do too much. He's kind of just like an okay defender. Mysterio, same thing. Just a pretty okay defender. Psycho Man is also a pretty okay defender, but I'm actually thinking about demoting him because it's like he's no Sam or Mysterio on defense, even though that he's kind of annoying. So he might go down here. Rocket Raccoon is very, very mid. He doesn't do a whole lot. He's a rupture-based champion, so that, it gives him a little bit of brownie points, but he doesn't really do anything else. Star-Lord, I mean, we're just so evolved. We are so past the ramping up your combo meter for damage. The only thing I will give him is that with the Baron Zemo synergy, or I think it's Baron Zemo or Mantis, they give him a synergy where you're able to select what you want your elemental guns to do. Because there's like 4 things that Star-Lord can do with his guns, and it was always up to RNG. But now you can kind of guarantee which one you get. If you get the shock or the power drain, and those are kind of the only 2 you really wanted. Deathless Vision just kind of sucks. By far the worst Deathless champion in my opinion. He's got solid power control, but it's kind of weak, even compared to the originals. And Vision is permanently a noodle. Like, there is not a single good Vision in this game who isn't a noodle. Vulture. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing to say about Vulture. He kind of sucks. I'm thinking about demoting him too, but I don't know. I thought there was like something with Vulture that kind of kept him out of trash, but let me know what you guys think. You think Vulture is complete trash? I wouldn't disagree. Honestly, he's just mid overall. I could see him going in trash. Unfortunately, though, pains me to say that Green Goblin is trash. Spider-Man's biggest arch nemesis, one of my top 3 favorite Spider-Man villains, someone I actually grinded the arena very long ago when he first came out, only to realize he was trash. And so yeah, that sucks. He definitely needs a buff. He's kind of just like a person who's just very annoying to fight, just because his special attacks have so many projectiles. It's a lot of chip damage. That's about it. Iron Patriot, even with the Red Goblin synergy, he's still not great. One of the worst champions in the game. He was like the biggest meme for the longest time, and he still kind of is. Probably the worst tech champion in my opinion. Kang is also pretty darn bad. He doesn't do a lot. He's got some power control with that special 2 and some stuns off it, and then some other stuns off his specials. But even with the Apocalypse synergy, gives him some extra damage. He still doesn't have a whole lot of utility, and there's really no reason to ever play Kang other than just to flex. Another flex is Ultron OG, who's 5-star locked. Ultron is literally just pre-buff. Ultron OG is just pre-buff Ultron, like the AOU version. So yeah, he kind of sucks, and instead of bleed, he does poisons. And then yeah, we kind of already talked about the 2 visions when we talked about Deathless, but I mean, both of these visions pretty similar. I'd say the OG is probably better out of the 2, but I deleted him. But yeah, they're kind of the same. They both just burn the opponent's power, and they don't deal a whole lot of damage. Yondu is actually getting a buff, so I'm curious to see where he ends up. But the only reason I'd say he's trash instead of like mid, even though he has like some utilities, because like a lot of this kit is very contradictory to one another. Like, you want things to happen in the fight, but then he also has Sting in his kit that prevents those things from happening, or at least slows it down. So it kind of makes him ineffective if you want to play him correctly, which kind of that's why I personally think he's trash. Just because he's so contradictory, and he kind of stops. He gets his own way, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that is the tech tier list. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any changes you'd make, let me know. I'm open to hearing feedback, and I tend to like to listen to the community, be persuaded very, very easily when it comes to these tier lists. I've already promoted and demoted a couple characters based on comments on my last class tier list. So you'll definitely see those when I do like my big monthly tier list, or like when I start doing that after I wrap up these classes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and goodbye.